How would your life change if nothing could disturb your peace? It's not just a poetic question, it's a deep and unsettling invitation. Imagine a version of yourself who never flinches under pressure, who doesn't overreact, who doesn't crumble when life turns violent, unfair, or chaotic. That version of you exists, and the Stoics knew how to awaken it. There's a quiet kind of power in being unmoved, not cold, not indifferent, but trained to resist impulses, trained to pause before reacting, trained to focus only on what is within your control. When Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them," he was telling us something most people never understand in their lifetime. The world doesn't make you suffer, you do. Epictetus was not a man of privilege. He was born into slavery, physically disabled, and lived much of his life without wealth or status. And yet, he taught some of the most powerful men in Rome. Why? Because he had mastered the one battlefield that truly matters, the inner world. He proved that you can lose everything and still remain undefeated if you guard your soul. When he taught his students, he didn't promise ease. He promised discipline. He didn't talk about how to win arguments or gain praise. He spoke of becoming so stable, so centered, that you act as if nothing bothers you. Because deep down, you've separated yourself from things that are not truly yours. Praise, blame, fortune, insults, chaos. This video is not about theory. It's about transformation. It's about learning how to carry yourself with composure, even when your life is falling apart. About walking through fire and not smelling like smoke. About developing what the Stoics called apatheia. Not apathy, but a higher state of emotional clarity. You will learn how to train your attention, master your responses, and live with a kind of stillness that others can't shake. In the next few minutes, I'll share with you 6 powerful Stoic principles that will reshape how you interact with pain, stress, conflict, and uncertainty. These are not abstract ideas, they're practices. They are weapons for your mind, forged through the writings and lives of people like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. These men faced exile, illness, death, and betrayal, and they remained composed, not because they were superhuman, but because they accepted reality and focused only on what was theirs to command. The first few principles will set the foundation. You'll start to notice how often you're pulled by emotions that don't serve you, how frequently you give away your peace to things that don't deserve it. But if you stay until the end, you'll receive the most important principle of all, the one that teaches you how to let go completely, not in weakness, but in supreme inner strength. It's the final weapon in the Stoics' arsenal, and once you have it, no one can truly touch you again. So whether you're here because you're tired of being overwhelmed, whether you feel that your emotions are controlling your life, or whether you simply want to carry yourself with more dignity and power in a chaotic world, you're in the right place. This is Diary Stoic, and today we begin the journey toward becoming untouchable. Not by escaping the world, but by mastering yourself. Comment below, "I control myself." Let that be your declaration. Let the world know that your peace is no longer up for negotiation. Lesson number 6, become unbreakable by mastering your will, prohairesis. In the Stoic worldview, the highest form of strength is not physical power, nor political influence, nor wealth or applause. The highest strength is self-mastery, and at the heart of self-mastery lies the Stoic concept of prohairesis, your rational will, your capacity to judge, to choose, to assent or deny. Epictetus called it the one thing that truly belongs to you. Everything else, your reputation, your possessions, even your body, is on loan from fate. But your will, your moral agency, is yours entirely. And when you train that will, you become what the Stoics would call truly free. You may be poor, mocked, imprisoned, or dying, yet if your will is untouchable, then so are you. This is the most powerful lesson, because without a trained and disciplined will, every other Stoic practice collapses under pressure. You might remember the teachings about not being disturbed by externals. You might reflect on the nature of virtue, or recall Marcus Aurelius reminding himself that the impediment to action advances action. But when your will is untrained, you will still break at the smallest provocation. You'll lash out when criticized. You'll spiral into despair when your plans fail. You'll seek approval like a beggar looking for coins. Without a mastered will, you are always vulnerable, no matter how much Stoic wisdom you've read. To understand how this works, you must begin to see every experience in your life as filtered through your prohairesis. When something happens, an insult, a failure, a disappointment, your immediate reaction is not the problem. The problem is your judgment. You might say, "This is unbearable," or "This is unfair," or "I can't handle this." But the Stoics would respond, "Who told you that this was unbearable? Who taught you that this moment deserves your suffering? It is not the event that hurts you, it is your opinion about it, and your opinion comes from your will." Epictetus taught his students that nothing truly harms us unless we judge it harmful. He said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. The will is the judge, and when that judge is wise, calm, and trained in virtue, you become unbreakable." Training your will is not a one-time act. It is a daily battle, one that begins in the smallest details. Every moment offers a test. Will you react impulsively, or will you choose with reason? Will you let a delay ruin your morning, or will you remind yourself that time is not yours to control? Will you internalize criticism and let it rot your self-worth, or will you remember that your character is measured by your own standards, not by the opinions of others? These moments don't look heroic. No one will applaud you for them. But each of them is a quiet victory. And over time, they build the kind of human being who can walk through fire without trembling. Consider this. You are standing in a crowded room and someone insults you. The first instinct is to defend yourself, to react, to prove them wrong. But the Stoic trained in prohairesis pauses. He does not rush to judgment. He asks himself, "Is this within my control? Is the insult true? If it is, I will thank them for the correction. If it is not, then their words have no power over me." This pause, this space between stimulus and response, is where true power lives. It is in that space that your will speaks. And if you have trained it well, it will speak with dignity, not with desperation. This training requires reminders. The Stoics never assumed mastery. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor, wrote to himself daily to stay disciplined. He reminded himself that other people's actions were their own, that nature does what it must, and that he must do what is right, no matter what. He was not writing for others. He was writing to guard his own will. That same practice is available to you. You can rise each morning and remind yourself that today you will meet distraction, insult, ingratitude, and trouble. But none of it will touch your peace unless you allow it. You can end each night by reviewing your day and asking, where did I give away my tranquility? Where did I allow externals to dictate my mood, my words, my choices? You might ask, does this mean we suppress all emotion? No. It means we observe our emotions without being ruled by them. You can feel sadness, but not let it drown your reason. You can feel anger, but choose not to act from it. You can feel fear, but still move forward with courage. The Stoics did not seek to become statues. They sought to become disciplined, capable of feeling fully without becoming slaves to those feelings. The will, when trained, allows you to feel pain without being destroyed by it. It is natural to want things to go our way. But the Stoics teach us to want only what we can control. When you shift your desires toward your own actions, toward being just, wise, courageous, self-controlled, then you become immune to disappointment. You no longer wish for life to obey your will. You wish only for your will to obey reason. This is the deepest kind of peace, not the peace of comfort, but the peace of alignment with nature. You may still wonder if this is realistic. You live in a world of distractions, injustice, pressures, demands. You are surrounded by people who do not think like this, but that is exactly why this lesson matters. In an age where outrage is currency and attention is stolen, the man or woman who walks calmly, who responds with clarity, who is unmoved by gossip or noise, that person is powerful in ways the world cannot understand. To act as if nothing bothers you is not a performance. It is the natural consequence of having put your trust only in what is yours, your judgment, your actions, your character. The more you let go of what does not belong to you, the lighter and freer you become. Every difficulty is an opportunity to practice this mastery. When someone betrays you, it is painful, but it is also your chance to reaffirm that their choices are theirs, not yours. When you lose something important, you mourn. But you also remind yourself that nothing was ever truly yours except your moral purpose. When life becomes chaotic and uncertain, you breathe, and you remember that chaos outside does not have to become chaos within. This is not easy. That is why it is rare. But it is possible, and it is worth everything. As you move forward, commit to one thing above all. Protect your will, strengthen it, feed it, respect it. You can lose everything else and still live with honor. But if you lose your will, if you give up your ability to judge, to choose, to respond with reason, then no external gain can save you. You will be at the mercy of the world. And the Stoic is never at the mercy of the world. This is the final lesson because it is the foundation of all the others. If you master this, if you truly master your prohairesis, you will find that insults bounce off you, that failure teaches you instead of breaking you, that suffering becomes your teacher rather than your prison. You will act as if nothing bothers you, not because you are pretending, but because your soul is anchored in something deeper than approval, deeper than fear, deeper than comfort. Now is the time to begin. Start today by observing yourself. When something disturbs you, do not react. Watch, question, ask, is this mine to control? Then choose wisely, choose calmly, choose in line with your values. And tonight, before you sleep, reflect, did I live today as the master of my will? Or did I give it away to strangers and shadows? And tomorrow, do it again. One day, one choice, one judgment at a time. Until one day, you are not merely acting as if nothing bothers you. You are truly untouchable. Lesson number 5. Reframe everything as training for the mind. In every moment of difficulty, the average person asks, why is this happening to me? But the Stoic asks a different question. What is this training in me? This shift in perspective changes everything. The world no longer appears as a hostile battlefield filled with injustice and chaos. Instead, it becomes a rigorous training ground where your soul is shaped, your character tested, and your judgment refined. To reframe your life in this way is not to deny pain, it is to give it purpose. And that purpose, once embraced, allows you to carry yourself through storms with the quiet confidence of one who knows, nothing is happening to me. Everything is happening for my inner development. Reframing is a discipline. It is not the naive optimism of pretending everything is good. It is the mature, rational habit of identifying what is useful, even in what hurts. Epictetus, who endured slavery and injury, taught his students to see every trial as a lesson. He said, "Difficulties show men what they are." That was not a metaphor. He meant it literally. Until you face hardship, you don't know what parts of your character are fragile. You don't know what triggers your anger, your fear, your impatience. Pain is the mirror that shows you your hidden weaknesses, not to shame you, but to show you where your training must begin. When you reframe adversity, you place yourself in the role of a student rather than a victim. You're no longer obsessed with why something bad happened. You begin to ask how you can respond with strength. The insult becomes a lesson in ego. The delay becomes an exercise in patience. The betrayal becomes a reminder to root your trust in virtue rather than in other people's behavior. Even loss becomes a profound teacher, not in cruelty, but in clarity. The more you reframe, the more life stops being something you must endure and starts becoming something you are refining yourself through. There's a passage in the Discourses where Epictetus compares life to a wrestling match. He tells his students that the true test of philosophy is not how you speak in class, but how you perform in the ring of life. If someone grabs you, throws you to the ground, insults you, or humiliates you, that is your moment to apply what you've trained. And if you fail, you don't curse fate. You simply recognize that you need more practice. You get up, you keep training. That is the Stoics' way. You never expect life to stop testing you. You simply aim to become stronger in every test. This is where reframing becomes a powerful ally to composure, because when you see everything as training, you stop taking things so personally. The rude driver isn't offending you. He's sharpening your awareness. The sudden failure at work isn't a tragedy. It's an invitation to examine your assumptions. The harsh words from someone close to you are not an attack on your identity. They are a chance to observe your attachment to being understood or praised. This doesn't mean you enjoy pain. It means you extract meaning from it, and that meaning transforms suffering into power. Now, this is not easy. Reframing takes practice, especially when your emotions are high. But the more you do it, the faster you can recover from emotional chaos. You begin to respond instead of react. You begin to ask better questions. You stop assuming that every inconvenience is a threat. You see that some of the best traits, resilience, patience, humility, courage, are born precisely in the moments that feel most uncomfortable. There is no growth in comfort. The Stoics knew this. That's why they did not seek to avoid difficulty. They sought to meet it with preparation. When Marcus Aurelius writes in his Meditations, he does not ask the universe for ease. He reminds himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is the core of reframing. What you once saw as an obstacle becomes the very path you must walk. And in walking it, you become stronger than you were before. What once disturbed you now instructs you. What once frightened you now trains your courage. You are no longer a slave to events. You are an apprentice of life. If you begin to live this way, truly live it, people will notice something strange about you. You will not panic when others do. You will not lash out when things go wrong. You will carry yourself with a stillness that doesn't make sense in a reactive world, and some will misinterpret it as coldness. But those who know better will see what it truly is, the presence of someone who has made peace with the trials of life and who treats each day as part of a greater preparation. This posture is what allows you to act as if nothing bothers you. Because deep down you're no longer bothered, not because you don't care, but because you care about the right things. You care about virtue more than comfort. You care about clarity more than validation. You care about becoming excellent rather than appearing successful. Every frustration, every failure, every slight, they are all sharpening the blade of your soul if you allow them to. And when you adopt this lens, even the worst moments become meaningful. To begin using this reframing today, start simple. When something disturbs you, pause and ask, what is this training in me? Is this moment teaching you to wait, to let go, to be humble, to listen better? Then accept the lesson. Don't resist it, welcome it. You don't have to like it, but you can respect it, and that respect transforms the emotional energy of suffering into the rational strength of purpose. The more you do this, the more life changes. Not because the world changes, but because your relationship with the world does. You become someone who is no longer pushed around by appearances, by mood, by disappointment. You move through the world like someone with an internal compass, steady, directed, grounded, not unmoved because you're hard, but because you are practiced, because you have learned to reframe everything as training for your mind. In time, you'll look back and realize what once disturbed you now strengthens you. What once made you afraid now makes you alert. What once brought you low now builds you up. That is the Stoic way, and it all begins by choosing, in each moment, to see the test, not the threat. Lesson number 4, let go of the illusion of control. One of the greatest sources of human frustration is the persistent illusion that we can control what we cannot. We make plans and expect them to unfold exactly as imagined. We speak and expect to be understood. We act and expect to be rewarded. And when the world does not obey these expectations, we suffer. Not because the world is cruel, but because our minds have forgotten something the Stoics never stopped reminding themselves of. The only thing you truly control is your own mind, your thoughts, your choices, your responses. Everything else is subject to the vast forces of fate, chance, time, and nature. To let go of this illusion is not weakness. It is the beginning of freedom. Epictetus said it clearly. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. In that one line lives a lifetime of clarity. The moment you divide the world into two, what is yours and what is not, you stop giving your energy to things you were never meant to hold. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes. You stop resenting people for being who they are. You stop exhausting yourself with resistance, and you begin to recover your peace. This doesn't mean you become passive or careless. On the contrary, it means you focus your full attention and discipline on the only field that matters, your own mind. You work hard not because you expect results, but because effort in accordance with virtue is your duty. You speak kindly not because you expect gratitude, but because it is the right thing to do. You plan with intelligence, but you accept outcomes with serenity. The Stoic works with purpose, but never with attachment. Because attachment to results is where suffering begins. Imagine a sailor setting out to sea. He studies the stars, strengthens the sails, prepares his crew. He does everything in his power to steer the ship wisely, but he does not command the wind. If a storm arises, he adjusts. If the sea is calm, he moves forward. But never once does he scream at the sky for changing course. The wise sailor understands the sea is not his to command, only the ship is. Your life is the same. You may prepare, act, decide, but the winds of life are beyond you. To demand they obey you is to guarantee bitterness. To accept their flow while steering your mind, that is Stoic mastery. Letting go of control is also a remedy against fear. Fear often arises from the fantasy that we must protect every outcome, avoid every loss, defend every image. But when you deeply realize that many things are simply not yours, not your reputation, not your possessions, not even your health or life, fear begins to fade. What remains is a quieter kind of power. The kind of power that comes from being anchored not in certainty, but in character. You begin to act as if nothing bothers you, because what once disturbed you, you no longer see as yours. This shift is not theoretical. You will feel it when someone insults you, and you no longer feel compelled to defend yourself. You will feel it when something goes wrong, and instead of spiraling, you take a breath and say, "This too is not mine." You will feel it when you lose an opportunity, but do not lose your inner dignity. Every one of these moments is a small death, a death of ego, of illusion, of unnecessary attachment. And every time something false dies within you, something true takes its place. It is tempting to resist this path. The modern world sells us the fantasy of total control. Algorithms, data, willpower, everything suggests that if you try hard enough, you can make life obey. But the Stoics knew better. They walked through plagues, wars, exile, injustice. They did not ask for these things, but they did not collapse under them either, because their peace was not based on conditions. It was rooted in a profound acceptance that life unfolds according to nature, not according to our desires. To live this way does not make you weaker. It makes you solid. You become less reactive. You stop needing to win every argument. You stop measuring your day by how others treat you. You begin to measure it by how you responded. Did you remain calm? Did you act justly? Did you let go of what was not yours? Then you are already victorious. Because what is more powerful than a man or woman who walks through a turbulent world and remains inwardly unmoved? If you want to begin practicing this today, start with one thing. Pay attention to your tension. Where are you trying to force life? Where are you resisting what simply is? In those moments, pause, breathe. Repeat the words of Epictetus. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Then release your grip. Let the world be what it is, and return your focus to the only true domain you will ever have, your own reason, your own principles, your own soul. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. Soon others will wonder how you stay so composed, how you smile when others are shouting, how you walk away from insults without bitterness. And you won't have to explain, because your life will speak for itself, not with noise, but with the quiet power of someone who has stopped trying to control the sea and has learned instead to master the ship. Lesson number 3. Strengthen the space between stimulus and response. There is a silent space between the moment something happens and the moment you respond. Most people never notice it. They react instantly. Out of habit, emotion, pride, or fear. An insult triggers rage. A delay triggers frustration. A loss triggers despair. But the Stoic sees that space. The Stoic lives in that space. And within it, they find their freedom. This is where you can choose not to react impulsively. This is where you can pause, breathe, and act with reason. The ability to dwell in that space, to strengthen it, is what allows you to act as if nothing bothers you, because in truth, nothing can bother you unless you give it permission. Epictetus taught that impressions arrive at our minds uninvited. We see something, hear something, feel something, and instantly a judgment arises. This is good. This is bad. This is unfair. But he warned us not to accept these judgments without inspection. He said, "Do not be swept off your feet by the appearance of things, but say, 'Wait for me a little, impression. Let me see what you are and what you represent. Let me test you.'" And that moment, that hesitation, is the mark of a trained mind. Most people rush to defend their feelings. The Stoic steps back and questions them. When you strengthen this space, you begin to govern yourself. You stop being a puppet of your surroundings. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your first reaction is rage, but your trained mind pauses. Is this truly worth disturbing your peace? Someone mocks your ideas. Your instinct is to retaliate. But your disciplined mind examines the situation. Is this a threat to your virtue or just noise? In that pause lies the opportunity to choose the higher path, and the more you practice it, the more instinctive it becomes. This does not mean you suppress your emotions or pretend they don't exist. Emotions are natural. They arise from deeply rooted associations and beliefs. But the Stoic does not hand the reins of action over to emotion. He listens, observes, considers. Then he chooses. That is the power of rational agency. You become the master of yourself, even when the world is not cooperating. This composure, this non-reactivity, is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the expression of someone who values virtue over vengeance, understanding over ego, presence over pride. Think of Marcus Aurelius governing a vast empire amidst war, plague, betrayal, and decay. He could have lashed out. He could have drowned in his own authority. But again and again in his meditations, We find him reminding himself to remain calm, to see clearly, to respond only when reason requires it. His discipline was not inaction, it was chosen action, never hasty, never impulsive, always anchored in principle. This is the space he lived in, and the space you can begin to cultivate in your own life. Modern life makes this space difficult to protect. Everything demands immediate reaction, notifications, opinions, provocations. The faster you respond, the more engaged you seem. But engagement is not the same as wisdom. Reactivity is not strength. The one who pauses, who waits, who considers, who remains grounded, that is the one who has trained their mind to remain untouched by the chaos of others. And in a world of noise, that kind of silence is a rare and powerful thing. You will not always succeed. There will be days when you react too quickly, speak too harshly, or feel emotions rise like a storm. That is not failure. That is feedback. It means the space is still growing. The Stoics did not aim for perfection. They aimed for progress. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you choose silence over shouting or stillness over escalation, you are strengthening the space, and that space becomes a sanctuary, a place inside you where nothing from the outside world can reach without your permission. Over time, you begin to notice how much energy you save. Arguments that once drained you now pass without damage. Situations that once triggered anxiety now seem manageable. And most of all, you begin to trust yourself. Not because you never feel anger or fear, but because you no longer serve them. You feel them, you acknowledge them, but you respond with reason. That is what separates the Stoic from the emotional wanderer. Not lack of emotion, but mastery of response. If you want to begin building this space, start with breath. When something agitates you, don't speak, don't act, breathe, slow down. Ask yourself, what part of this is truly within my control? What would the wise version of me do in this moment? What response would leave me proud even if no one else sees it? These questions return you to your center, and from that center you can act with dignity, not with impulse. The space between stimulus and response is small, but it is everything. It is where you choose who you will be. It's where you stop being pushed around by emotion and begin to act from principle. And it is where the mask of being unbothered falls away, because you are no longer pretending. You are no longer reacting. You are simply responding, slowly, calmly, wisely. And that, in the eyes of the Stoic, is power. Lesson number 2. Choose indifference toward praise and blame. Human beings are naturally drawn to approval. From early childhood, we learn to associate praise with safety, love, and success. As we grow older, this attachment to praise becomes more subtle, but no less powerful. We begin to shape our behavior around what others might think. We measure our worth through applause. We fear blame like we fear pain, and so we become vulnerable, not only to criticism, but to our own hunger for validation. To act as if nothing bothers you, you must sever this chain. You must learn to regard both praise and blame as things indifferent, neither good nor bad in themselves, unless you choose to make them so. Epictetus was direct about this. He said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That is not a call to seek humiliation. It is a warning. You cannot pursue truth, virtue, or strength while still being enslaved to what others think of you. Their praise may be sweet, but it is not nourishment. Their blame may sting, but it is not a wound. Only your judgment can make it so. And your judgment, if trained in reason and fortified by discipline, does not move with the crowd. There is a hidden trap in praise. When people compliment your actions, your character, your achievements, it feels good. But that feeling can become a drug. You begin to chase it. You tailor your behavior to preserve it. And slowly, your choices stop being yours. They belong to whoever applauds you. Praise can corrupt just as much as blame. because it tempts you to seek the appearance of virtue instead of virtue itself. It makes you play roles instead of becoming real. The Stoic does not reject praise, but he does not feed on it either. He sees it as a passing shadow, pleasant perhaps, but empty. The same is true of blame. When others criticize you, their words can pierce deeply. But Epictetus reminded his students that insults only harm us if we accept them. If someone calls you a liar and you are not one, why be disturbed? They are simply mistaken. If they are correct, then they have done you a favor. They have revealed something you must change. In both cases, the power is yours. It is your choice whether to suffer or to learn. You can stand in a storm of blame and remain untouched, not because you are stubborn, but because you have rooted your identity in something deeper than opinion. This posture, this deliberate indifference to praise and blame, is not arrogance. It is humility. It is the recognition that your value does not depend on recognition. It is the quiet strength of someone who knows what they are trying to become and does not need others to agree. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that fame is fleeting and that many of the greatest thinkers, leaders, and heroes of the past are already forgotten. If even the best are erased by time, what is the use of chasing praise? Far better to live by principle and let your actions speak for themselves, even if no one ever hears them. When you detach from praise and blame, you regain your inner compass. You no longer change your course based on approval. You act because the action is right, not because it is rewarded. You speak because the truth must be spoken, not because it wins applause. You become immune to manipulation, flattery, guilt, and shame. You are no longer a reed blowing in the wind. You are rooted like an oak, still, centered, unmoved. But this indifference must be trained. It is not natural. It is forged in moments of discomfort, when someone misunderstands you, when you are not thanked, when your efforts are unseen. Those are the moments when you choose, will I let this define me, or will I return to my own judgment, to my own standards? Each time you return to yourself, your soul grows stronger. Each time you resist the need to be praised or the fear of being blamed, you reclaim a little more of your freedom. To live this way is not easy. You may be accused of not caring, but you do care, just not about illusions. You care about character, not reputation. You care about justice, not applause. You care about doing what must be done, not about how it is received. That is real strength. That is how you walk through the world with calm, even when the world is chaotic. That is how you act as if nothing bothers you, not by pretending, but by being unmoved at the root. The voice of the crowd is loud, but your voice must be louder, or quieter, but more grounded. Do not let praise inflate you, or blame deflate you. Both are wind. You are the mountain. Let them pass. Lesson number 1. Accept everything, expect nothing. At the foundation of all Stoic composure lies a single principle: acceptance. Not the passive kind that surrenders to despair, but the powerful kind that sees the world clearly and says, "Let it come." The Stoic does not fight reality. He does not beg life to go a certain way. He does not build his peace on fragile expectations. Instead, he aligns his mind with nature, accepting everything that happens while expecting nothing in return. And from that posture, he becomes invulnerable. When you expect nothing, every moment is a gift, and when you accept everything, nothing can truly break you. Epictetus put it simply, "Seek not for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." This is not defeatism. This is realism fortified by wisdom. The world is not obligated to meet your hopes. People will not always be kind. Plans will fail. Pain will visit. Loss will come. These are not signs that something has gone wrong. They are part of what it means to be alive. And the man who prepares himself for this, who expects nothing yet welcomes everything, is never shocked, never bitter, never thrown off balance. Acceptance begins with the small things. You miss a train, you receive criticism, someone breaks a promise. These are the daily tests. Do you resist, complain, fall into resentment? Or do you breathe, observe, and say, this too is part of life? With each act of acceptance, you shed the illusion that you control the world. And in shedding that illusion, you begin to control something far more powerful, your own peace. Expectations are the silent thieves of joy. When you believe the world owes you ease, you suffer at every inconvenience. When you believe people must treat you fairly, you collapse at every betrayal. But when you let go of these expectations, you move through life with open hands. You still hope, you still act, but you do not tie your peace to the outcome. You act because action is right, not because it guarantees reward, and in doing so, you free yourself from the tyranny of disappointment. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man of his time, faced endless frustration, war, plague, betrayal. Yet in his private writings, he reminded himself again and again to accept what came and expect nothing. Not because he was weak, but because he understood what true power is. Not the ability to control the external world, but the ability to remain calm no matter what it brings. That is what allowed him to lead without bitterness, to suffer without self-pity, to act with justice even when surrounded by injustice. When you live without expectations, you are never caught off guard. You understand that people act according to their nature, not according to your hopes. You understand that life is change, not permanence. You understand that pain is part of the price for being alive. And in understanding this, you stop wasting your energy resisting what already is. You meet the moment with presence. You carry yourself with composure. You remain firm where others fall apart. Acceptance is not surrender. It is the disciplined choice to live aligned with reality. You still act. You still speak. You still love, build, create. But you release the demand that these efforts go exactly as planned. You serve the moment, not the fantasy. And when the moment changes, you adapt. Not with panic, but with poise. That is what makes a Stoic steady. Not that they feel nothing, but that they are prepared for everything. Begin with this mindset. Today, I expect nothing. Not because I am cynical, but because I am free. I accept everything. Not because I am passive, but because I am strong. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. My peace is not dependent on conditions. My peace is within. That is how you act, as if nothing bothers you, not by denying emotion, but by removing the hooks the world uses to pull at your soul. When there is nothing you demand from the world, there is nothing it can take from you. You become whole. You become still. You become prepared. And that, as the Stoics knew, is the beginning of real strength. When you look back at the lives of the Stoics, not just their writings, but their lived reality, what you see is not a group of perfect men untouched by life. You see men forged by hardship. You see exiles, slaves, emperors, soldiers, thinkers, all enduring the same chaos, pain, betrayal, and uncertainty that we still face today. The difference is not what happened to them. The difference is how they responded. Where others collapsed under the weight of the world, they stood firm. Where others cried out for fairness, they acted with justice. Where others begged for peace, they created it from within. And they did it not because they were emotionless, but because they were prepared. To act as if nothing bothers you is not a mask. It is not a performance for the world. It is the consequence of inner work. It is the external expression of an internal commitment to live with virtue regardless of outcome. The calm exterior comes from a mind trained to let go of what it cannot control, to master its judgments, to reframe its suffering, and to walk forward without needing applause. It is the natural stillness of someone who has been tested, broken, humbled, and who has returned to stand taller than before. You have now learned 6 principles, not 6 rules to memorize, but 6 ways of being to embody. You have seen that mastery begins with the will, the part of you that can always choose how to judge, how to act, how to respond. You have seen that every hardship can be reframed as training, as practice for the soul. You have seen the power of letting go of illusions, of expectations, of the craving to control what was never yours to begin with. You have seen that between impulse and action there is a space, and in that space your freedom is found. You have learned that neither praise nor blame defines you, only your commitment to virtue does. And at the root of it all, you have embraced the most difficult posture, radical acceptance and total freedom from expectation. If you carry these ideas forward, truly carry them, your life will begin to change. Not all at once, but deeply. You will still feel pain, but it will no longer define you. You will still face chaos, but you will not mirror it. You will still lose things, but you will not lose yourself. This is the great promise of Stoicism: not comfort, not pleasure, not ease, but unshakable character. Not that the storm disappears, but that you become the kind of person who can walk through the storm and remain whole. It will not always be glamorous. There are no standing ovations for inner composure. No one will clap when you choose silence over anger or calm over ego. Most of your victories will happen in private, in the moments where you feel emotion rising and choose not to obey it, in the moments where your mind wants to blame and instead you take responsibility, in the moments where you want to be seen, to be validated, to be admired, and instead you turn inward and say, "Let me be good, not praised." Over time you will notice something else. You will become a source of steadiness for others. People will come to you, not for comfort, but for clarity, not for emotional indulgence, but for perspective. You will become the one who remains calm when others panic, who acts when others freeze, who forgives when others hold grudges. This influence will not come from your words, but from your presence, a presence built through discipline, reflection, and practice. And that is how the Stoic changes the world, not by conquering others, but by mastering himself. There will be setbacks. You will fail. You will react too quickly. You will feel disturbed. And in those moments, your ego will whisper that you are not strong enough, not disciplined enough, not worthy of this path. But that voice is not the truth. The truth is this: every failure is another opportunity to return to the path. Every emotional stumble is another reminder to train the will. Every time you fall, you rise again, a calmer, wiser, clearer. This is the Stoic's journey, not perfection but persistence, not rigidity but resilience. In a world of noise, speed, comparison, and distraction, the one who chooses stillness becomes a rare force. Not passive stillness, but the stillness of awareness, the stillness that sees clearly, acts deliberately, and accepts fully. When you no longer need to win every battle, you become the one who cannot be defeated. When you no longer need the world to be a certain way, you begin to walk freely through it. When you no longer expect peace from others, you begin to generate it from within. Let the words of Epictetus echo in your life. No man is free who is not master of himself. That is your work. That is your calling, not to control the world, but to command your own mind, not to eliminate suffering, but to rise through it, not to seek praise, but to live in such a way that even if no one ever notices, you still know you did what was right. That is the kind of life that requires courage. Courage not to fight others, but to fight your own attachments, impulses, and illusions. Courage to walk away from drama, from comfort, from recognition. Courage to sit in silence and do the inner work that no one else will ever see. Courage to live without needing the world to understand you, because you understand yourself. And so, as this message comes to a close, The work is only beginning. The Stoics never spoke for applause. They wrote, reflected, and practiced, because the work of the soul never ends. You are invited now, not just to think about these ideas, but to embody them. Let them become your posture, your breath, your way of being. Let them become the quiet force behind your presence, the way you speak, the way you respond, the way you carry yourself in a chaotic world. And when the next challenge comes, because it will, remember this: you have been here before. You are prepared. You do not need everything to go your way. You only need to go the way of reason, of virtue, of alignment with your deeper self. The world may test you. People may misunderstand you. Life may fall apart in ways you did not expect. But if your mind remains your own, you are untouched. This is the essence of Stoic strength. This is the discipline of the unbothered mind. And this is the quiet power of a life lived with clarity. This is Diary Stoic, and now your path begins.